Then we get the video for the main event. This featured comments from Cody going back to 2011, back in the Legacy days, and then fast forward to modern day and the whole convoluted build up to this match. And that sets the stage for Pat McAfee to come out, and he is followed. First, we see this whole graphics package of Vipers, and everyone had PTSD to WrestleMania 33. And oh my God, are we going to get the sperm revival? And this was a much
some people won't know what you're talking about, and
everyone listening to a wrestling stream at 11 at night, everyone knows the WrestleMania 2017.
I feel for the perhaps partners of people that do know, that are probably that much more confused listening to this.
Go watch the Orton Bray Wyatt entrances from 2017. Everyone will know the giant sperm that penetrated Orlando that night.
That's right.
Yes.
Who could forget?
So McAfee is out, followed by Randy, and then we get Cody's entrance. And this is the evolution of Cody. And we go from 2007 call-up Cody in his colored trunks.
This must have been his debut outfit, right? Like they showed the match with Randy. That
I'm sure it was. Yeah. Then we go to the dashing Cody Rhodes version with the mask, and then into Stardust, and then he went from Stardust right up until that WrestleMania in Dallas when he came up with the American Nightmare gimmick and transformed overnight and returned at WrestleMania.
To be fair, like American Nightmare is a direct lift from AEW, so yes. I mean nothing really changed there. I guess any great omissions? Are we missing Evolve Cody? Or are we missing TNA Cody?
Yeah, where's TNA? Where's brown
all the
hair
TNA
Cody?
Mentions on this show.
Yeah, where's
Ring of Honor? You know, clearly they have a contact at ROH for photos. They could have put that.
Yeah, where's the Cody that needed the exorcism after being under the control of WWE?
Where's Bernard?
Some would argue that that's current Cody.
Where's Bernard the business bear? You know,
where is the goddamn business bear? That's a great question.
We are the biggest nerds, I think, John, in the world.
And then they're rising on the Cody Vader is Cody, who comes out in this gold and white attire with a mask that is probably what is going to be the starting bid for the WWE auction site of this mask.
This or the Undertaker casket, which one will be more expensive?
I don't know what the online reaction was to this. I did think this was a pretty cool
entrance fucking
that
awesome.
they had. Like this was.
Listen, people understand when John and I are talking and maybe like making fun of this stuff. We're having fun, and
I'm dead serious. I generally am a pretty obnoxious person. Yeah,
this was like his Iron Man Hall of Armor scene, and I mean it was grand. Not as great as the AJ Lee entrance, but man, I thought it was pretty cool.
The best part was during this incredibly elaborate, expensive entrance, they cut to Randy, who's just like watching this. He's like, I just came out to my fucking theme that I've been walking out to for 15 years, and they give him this.
Where's my sperm?
It is quite the contrast when you put all of your eggs into one side's entrance and the other guy's, it's like Stephanie Vaquer coming out after the live music video. It was just like, yeah, we got confetti. Randy, you're going to come out to snakes on the video wall.
And he doesn't even win. That's the kicker, John. You're going to lose and you don't get the cool entrance.
So if you were really paying attention here, Nick Khan is showing, but not just him. Jamie Horowitz, former EVP at WWE, also there, and he's filming Cody here. Jamie Horowitz, who you can look at his history and his exit from Fox Sports, but then went to WWE, and then he was part of the releases a few years ago, and now he's the co-owner of Omaha Productions, which is one of the producers of WWE Unreal. And I was told that they are filming this weekend for future Unreal as well. So it will be curious to see what they were focusing on, and whether like Paige is maybe something that is focused upon for a future Unreal episode.
Yeah, I'm sure it would be. Mm-hmm.
Brandy and Liberty are there, and Cody holds his daughter. And then McAfee does the intro for Orton and then nails Cody with the microphone before the bell begins, and we go, and Orton starts stomping him. They go to the floor. There's a crossroads delivered to Pat McAfee, so he's out, and Jelly Roll appears. He just hops the barricade, makes it into WrestleMania, and he puts Pat through a desk with an elbow drop, killing Pat, and they stretcher out Pat McAfee.
Mm-hmm.
And Jelly Roll tells them to have the one-on-one match you're supposed to have. Well, it would have been nice, Jelly Roll, maybe if you stuck around or made sure that Pat McAfee was incapacitated.
Yeah,
Jelly Roll had places to be. He couldn't stick around for this match.
Well, clearly he wanted to watch the match, I bet. Yeah. No, you took your eye off the ball, Jelly Roll. But, like, at least the match started in the way that I think we all expected. And it's that, like, they fully recognize maybe the Pat McAfee reaction, or we thought they might. Yeah, I would say so. They fully recognize the Pat McAfee reaction, and they wanted to make a point to tell the audience that you were not going to get Pat McAfee from the moment that, well, even before the bell actually rang in this match.
But you get him later in the match.
Well, yes.
Yeah. Cole then mentions the rumors of Randy Orton being hurt. He says there have been rumors online, but they're also being talked about in the locker room that he has a back injury. And so this becomes the focus of the match, is Randy Orton's back injury.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Now, like, I see this, and it makes me wonder if, like, well, what the sources of the original rumors were, and whether or not, like, this was always a storyline. But, like, you watch the body of this match, and I will say it was rather confusing, because, like, you start this thing off with Cody Rhodes coming out in, like, a really cool entrance. All right, he comes out and he is part of a group attached to Jelly Roll that negates the biggest heel in the room in Pat McAfee. So what I felt was going to be a more anti-Cody sentiment stemming off of his reaction on SmackDown was certainly not that. And it was not that way from what they kind of, steered you towards. It was, like, I think, a relatively pro-Cody reaction. They weren't anti-Randy, but they certainly weren't booing Cody. But then you frame the entire match around Randy Orton being a babyface with the back injury, with the blood. And it just, it was at least interesting. And I'm curious to hear your thoughts on it, John.
Yeah, I mean, they did steer it towards everybody. Now, was it specifically noted that it was a back injury?
Yeah.
Because
wasn't it, like, from Cole? That's what I
No, not from Cole. I'm saying from, like, when this was reported by Dave, it had just been like he's dealing with an injury.
I didn't read the Dave report. I just kind of got it secondhand. So let me see.
Well, in the Observer, it was just he's hurting. That was what was noted, and I'm just curious by that if maybe on one of his shows, if he had in fact said back injury, because privately I was told it's a back injury. So I'm just curious there, because if he had not said back injury, that at least is interesting.
Okay.
So anyway, so that is the story of the match, is this back. Wade is also just dismissing any of these rumors. Cody goes for a Cody cutter, and it's turned into a backbreaker by Orton, but by delivering the backbreaker, he injures his own back, and he's wincing in pain, and Cody goes after the lower back. And this is when the fans really start to rally behind Randy and start to actively boo Cody Rhodes. Randy, who is selling the back, hits his superplex, but then starts selling the back again. They go onto the floor, and Cody posts him, and now Randy comes up, and he's bleeding, which is more sympathy for Randy. The boos intensify. Cody hits a draping DDT, and then Orton, out of nowhere, catches him with a crossroads and goes for an RKO. It's turned into a backslide, and then Cody hits an RKO. So both men have now hit each other's finisher once. Cody dumps him on the desk, and then Cody is caught with an RKO out of nowhere in the ring. Cody survives that. He goes to the eyes, like as much of a heel move as you're going to get in, this layout. And Orton, blinded, takes out Charles Robinson with an RKO. The old man, didn't see you there. Sorry, Charles. And so Cody holds up and stops Randy from kicking him in the dick. And then Cody kicks him right in his sperm.
That he did.
All the way back to 2017.
Yep.
And the crowd hates this. They were like, yeah, Randy might have tried to do this to you, but you can't reciprocate. And so he goes for a top rope Cody cutter and is caught coming down with the RKO, but the ref is still down. So out runs Pat McAfee in the neck brace, and you could just hear the 49,000 groans. And he's in a referee's shirt.
I mean, it is especially groaning because he completely doesn't sell the the jelly roll splash through the table at all, other than wearing like a comical neck brace. And
we're talking like 15 minutes tops here.
Yeah, and I understand like in this sort of moment, you can't have him exactly waddle down to the ring injured, right, for a near fall situation. But I just like one of my big complaints about all of this is just maybe how comical and how hard to believe into, hard to suspend my disbelief for is this entire Pat McAfee character and promo and presentation. You know,
this was not a great night for the let it play out crowd, is all I'm going to say. I thought Pat really added nothing here. He further babyface Orton by getting RKO'd is what he added. Yes. So he's laid out. McAfee comes in and he counts 2. And then Orton is looking at Pat and he smiles. And he hits an RKO to Pat McAfee. So everyone cheers Randy. And by taking the eye off of Cody, Cody capitalizes with a crossroads, pinning Randy at 22 minutes and 40 seconds to retain the title. And then after, Orton grabs the belt, takes out Cody with a belt shot, and he punts Cody right in the head. Years since they have done this move. Aside from the Phantom one during the pandemic when the lights went out.
Edge?
Christian.
Edge?
I think Christian.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, right.
And then the final shot is Randy holding the belt as we go off the air.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Not the finish I predicted. I thought they would have Randy just straight up win. Like we discussed, John, whether or not they have, like the boat has sailed for this, like Cody Rhodes heel turn dynamic to the story. It's something they've completely gotten away from with the introduction of Pat McAfee. Even with last night's promo with CM Punk, I felt like no hint towards it, and maybe that was the idea. Like you didn't see it coming, but this could be interpreted as a Cody Rhodes. No, this could have been interpreted as a double turn match. Certainly Randy Orton in disassociating with Jelly Roll and in the way he played out throughout the match. Sorry, McAfee. Yeah, he's the babyface now. Is Cody Rhodes a heel, or was he just a heel, or was he just a babyface who was able to find his killer instinct tonight? That is maybe the headline that they want you to leave the show with. I'll say I thought the match was compelling, but it was a slower paced Randy Orton style of match where he exhibited terrific selling, but it did require, I think, a bit of a slower pace. I did think the crowd turned on it. I felt like they provided like pretty decent reaction for it, but it wasn't the type of match you would rave about, after the fact. No. Coupled with the finish that I don't think this audience wanted, which I understand the desire to maybe further the story, probably for a rematch like immediately after this with Orton now chasing the babyface role. But I do think like on this stage, you wanted to leave the audience going home extremely satisfied to make up for everything that preceded it. And I don't think this achieved that.
Yeah, I would say for your main event of WrestleMania, like the first half of this match, I would not say like this felt like the most compelling of matches. And by the end of it, I don't know. It was fine, but I don't think many people are looking for fine for such a big match, one of your biggest matches of the entire year. It certainly felt like as though this were like if McAfee is not out of the storyline, it's greatly adjusted because you really don't see the idea of Randy and Pat McAfee teaming up after this.
I think they've totally abandoned that idea. And why would they choose to do it knowing like what sort of no pun intended, the backlash to the angle has been, maybe you'll still get some McAfee. Although like, does McAfee stick to this, whatever stipulation he put out? Was that the agreement from Nick Aldis?
That's right. Yeah. If he didn't win, he would never show up again.
Yeah.
So maybe this was Pat's write-off for now.
I mean, it could have been.
It kind of felt like it. Like, yeah. And if they don't follow up with this with Pat, like this really goes down as like an idea that just tanked. And like this didn't move tickets. This did not result in like this grand interest that Pat brought because he's one of your faces of ESPN. It just was largely met with negativity. It's not like this match produced this great climax at the end of the whole thing that left you feeling as though, okay, they had a rough start, but they delivered you something big at the end. Just this kind of felt like just the end of Pat. And now the focus, like you do the punt here and Cody's got to sell that as well coming out of it, that you're obviously going to continue with those two as well. I thought a lot of this was a mess and they're just trying to dig themselves out of what they had gotten into.
Yeah. So I think we get Cody and Orton for Backlash immediately. That that feels maybe more of what the audience actually wants versus like the jelly roll Pat McAfee thing. But through Pat McAfee now, they've also further introduced this idea that TKO is against Cody Rhodes, and they are throwing celebrities in there in the form of Dwayne Johnson, Travis Scott, and now Pat McAfee to try to ruin his WrestleMania main events.
So now, maybe they decided we can't waste this. Let's save Cameron for the run-in at Backlash.
Of course. Yes, of course. Yes. So, I mean, that is the further story that I think we are hearing from Cody. Did Cody turn in this instance to maybe, I don't know, make TKO happy or like, what does this mean for that story? Whether or not we'll actually get any sort of payoff to that story. You
hit it. I think it's Cody and Ari next year. Saudi night 2
has to be.
Yeah,
it has to be. Check out Cody's eye.
Look at that.
Yeah.
Oh,
his eye's swollen shut here in the aftermath of this match. So, I mean, do you think he'll be a question mark for Backlash? 3 weeks.
I just think the angle, like this is the first time they've done the punt angle in a long time that I feel like you should have. Like that should be a big deal, but I don't see him missing a pay-per-view cycle.
Right.
Unless there was like something that actually happened here. But that's certainly where they're going to go next. And it did feel like they are pivoting away from the original tag idea that they clearly were setting up, and felt like tonight was it just as well. Like if you were somebody that was following this on the Pat McAfee side, like it just felt as though like they were just writing this off, and also feels like a stipulation that will probably be never mentioned again because I don't think we have seen the end of Pat McAfee on WWE programming.
I feel like we might get the reveal of whatever he signed from Nick Aldis, and then maybe the actual like in-ring goodbye. Like
that's right, because he blindly signed the contract on Friday, despite saying he always reads before he signs. Right. What can that get you away from? Sorry, I protected you, Pat. You didn't have to put up the leaving WWE forever stipulation. We need you for the crossover appeal. Ari has overturned it. The man who will not be named.
Yeah.
It is WrestleMania month at postwrestling.com. Wei Ting and John Pollock go live all WrestleMania week beginning Monday, April the 13th. Sign up for the Post Wrestling Cafe and you will get live shows all week long leading into our coverage that weekend of WrestleMania 42. This month, we're also bringing you reviews of Spring Break 2 from New Orleans in 2018 and a special Patrons Pick edition of Rewind Away. Sign up now at postwrestlingcafe.com, and this month, new subscribers get 50% off for the first month. Head on over to postwrestlingcafe.com.